Hey fam, it's your girl Chana, and I'm here outside in our yard and what we are hoping will become the Blake's Family Homestead or the Blake's Family Garden. So one of the things that we wanted to do when we purchased this house was designate a part of the yard for garden, for growing veggies. We actually were also considering getting some chickens and now possibly getting some bees. I don't know, but right now we're just getting started. We've been doing a little bit of landscaping around the yard, and once we were able to clear out some of the overgrown landscape that was here when we purchased the house, we were kind of able to better get a vision for what we wanted. And as we were mapping things out, Mr. Blakes was like, oh, we have to have somewhere to grow our own food. We decided to potentially designate this side of the yard for that. However, because we have so many, as you can see, we have a lot of large, very large trees in our yard, in and around our yard. There's not a lot of sun. There's not a lot of areas that get full sun 6 to 8 hours a day, which most vegetable gardens need, except in the very front of the yard. And even in that area, once you get to like the late afternoon, that's in the shade. So right now I'm testing this side of the yard, and by testing I mean like every hour or so when I'm home, I try to take, and it's sunny out, I try to take pictures of the yard to kind of get an idea of what areas are the sunniest throughout the day. And so this whole area right here next to the shed, between the shed and this our fence, this complete area here was covered, and it was overgrown shrubs, plants, just greenery, vines, weeds. It was just completely filled. So we had landscape company come out and just basically clear all of this out except for the shrubs that line the fence, and we may eventually take some of those out. So this is kind of where I started randomly. First of all, some of this stuff is already died because I didn't really know what I was doing. I just started doing stuff. So I follow, her name is Asia. Her YouTube channel is Yellow Door Homestead, I think. I started watching some of her videos about her urban homestead, her urban garden, because she lives in the state of Virginia but in a different growing zone. We're in zone 8A, she's in zone 7B, and this area actually used to be zone 7B as well. But I started looking at her channel for some inspiration. I also have one of my good friends from when I was in high school who has a homestead farm in Virginia called, I think they're called Leaf and Bean Farm. And so I of course follow her. So I'm kind of trying to take cues from them. And the idea to use the grow beds I actually got from Asia's channel. So I went on to Amazon and ordered these, went to Lowe's, got some just raised bed garden soil with, I don't even know if it's amendments or anything, and I just threw this stuff in there. I bought the plants from there and everything. And so this is, I put the little tags. This is Brussels sprouts. These two are broccoli. This is cauliflower, but as you can see, that's gone. This is cabbage. These two are cabbage. These two are broccoli. I mean, no, these two are collard greens. See, that's why I gotta have the tags, because I don't know. And then this is like red romaine lettuce. which is funny because the outer leaves died and these newer middle leaves started growing. So I think we're doing not so bad for me just throwing these in the yard. That over there is a lemon and lime tree in the same pot. It's a key lime and a Myers lemon tree that's kind of like being pruned, or it's made to grow together, so it looked like one tree but it's actually two. So it's sitting up there because I'm trying to figure out what's the best place to put it so that it gets more sun, and I don't know how I'm doing, but we're gonna see. So this is kind of the area that I'm working with. Some of this is of course pre-existing stuff that's just randomly in the yard. This is a rose bush, and this tree, it's the same as I think one of these two street trees, but I'm not really sure, y'all. Elementary school age, I remember us having a garden in our backyard in the hood. What we would call an urban garden, but like we was just in the hood, and we had a garden in the backyard of our house, our little hood home. Now my son loves to go to my parents' house and go through the garden and pick things. So he loves growing, and when we lived in the apartment, we would grow, like I would buy the tomato plant and the green pepper plant halfway already grown with a trellis and everything, you know, for 10 bucks or something, and we would just, you know, grow so that he could kind of see what it was like. And it never really grew anything we could really eat for real, but it was just the point. I think we did like eat one bell pepper. So now that we have this house, we definitely wanted that experience, but I also want to learn and kind of like just see it on my own, trial by error. I went to a garden class at McDonald Garden Center, which is like a local nursery, and I actually got a lot of good information from that class, and then I also got some stuff that I hadn't had. Like I got this Swiss chard, and then I got, I think that's arugula, kale, and then I got some amendments for the soil, because of course I didn't have none of that when I, you know, planted this stuff. So I went ahead and got some more of the grow bags from Amazon so that I could plant this stuff. And it's been taking me so long. The stuff is almost dead, but we're gonna plant it anyway. We're gonna try to do it. So I'm gonna have to go back into these and probably, I don't know, I've heard about this black cow manure, and so I got that, and then I got this garden soil from Home Depot. Y'all know that's my spot. So I got this today. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna first plant the plants that I have here. These, actually I think I'm gonna save that Swiss chard and plant it where the cauliflower didn't make it. And then these, I think this is a pack of 10, so I'm gonna plant these in this pack. But I'm gonna attempt, now that I have all this stuff, to like really amend the soil, because in the class I took, they showed us how to use this stuff to like start it, and then like this is like a weekly or bi-weekly fertilizer. So that's what we're gonna attempt to do today. So now I have my little gardener assistant here. I don't know what he gonna do, but we're gonna see. So I got this cardboard from a box, something I unboxed, and I'm not sure. I heard on another person's video that they put their grow bags on top of the cardboard, and I guess it helps to keep the roots from coming through the bag, just coming through the bottom of the bag and actually rooting into the ground. I'm not completely opposed to the rooting in the ground. I just want to be able to have the flexibility of moving the bag. So I'm thinking that I might actually put them on the cardboard once I fill them up, just so they don't grow through the bottom of the bag, but we gonna see. So these bags are the 7-gallon bags. The ones I have are 10 gallons. So these are a little bit smaller than the ones I already had, just a little bit. I think these, they say they're 12 inches across, and those are 18. They're just a little bit smaller. I might need get another bag of this. I was able to get everything that I had bought planted. So hey guys, I want to come back and give a update on the urban garden. I was able to find some of the local master gardener groups, and the group that's actually in our city, they have an urban agriculture program where they will help you if you are wanting to do gardening in an urban setting, whether it's a school garden, a community garden, a church garden, or a home garden. And so we went out to event that the city was putting on and trying to encourage people to grow trees, and they were giving away free trees, and they had other vendors, and one of the vendors was the master gardeners. So I got the information, told them that we were trying to have a urban homestead, and they told me just reach out and that they would send some of the master gardeners to our house and help us plan out the garden and just see you know, any information that we would need as far as planning out a garden. Let them know what you're interested in growing, and they will kind of help you along the way based on what it is that you know, looking to do. Me and my husband talked with them. We let them know that we were wanting to, you know, do the urban homestead thing. We wanted to be able to grow fruits, vegetables, herbs, etc., maybe some flowers, but mostly we wanted to grow things that we could eat, and that we were also considering getting chickens. And so they kind of took a look at the yard. They came at like 10 a.m. so they could get a good idea of like the sunlight. And so where we originally had planned, which was kind of back in this area next to the shed, sort of like between this pine tree and that tree and the shed. So that space is where originally we're planning, and that's where I had my grow bags originally. And as you can see, it's the morning. It's about 10, almost 10 o'clock now, which is about the time when they came, and that area is so shady, and so they said that would not be a good spot. So they recommended us bringing it to the front. And I ain't gonna lie, I was very much opposed to bringing the garden to the front, but this is where all the sunlight is. As you can see, the sunlight is very bright in the morning. The sun rises across from me, and it kind of goes over the house like that. And so this is the best place to get basically morning and most afternoon sun is going to be kind of in this area. So basically the area from that same pine tree up to the street is basically the best. Gonna get the most sunlight, at least 6 hours of sunlight now, and then as the summer months come around, it'll be even more sunlight because the sun will be up a little bit higher. Kind of see where the house is starting to shade the backyard, and by the time it's 12 or 1, the sun is like literally, the shade is right here. And so they're right, and this would be the better area. The catch is this is our driveway, and we want to extend the driveway because we don't want to have to park behind each other. We're playing musical cars in the driveway. Eventually, where you see these kind of drive strips, we're going to put in some concrete driving strips so that we will have an acceptable surface to park on per the city ordinance. And so that leaves pretty much this whole area up to this pine tree that would be optimal for the garden. Another thing that they pointed out is that this tree right here, I forget what they called it. It's actually not a tree, but it's more so like a large shrub, and it has these berries on it, and basically it's providing a lot of shade in this area. But these berries is not, as you can see, the tree is full of berries, and we have tons and tons of birds, and they aren't touching them. And that's what the master gardener shared, that this is not a shrub where the birds in this area are going to eat the berries. It's basically kind of like impeding on this being a better space for the garden. And so they recommended that we remove this, and so and remove these two
azaleas or rhododendron, I'm not sure which they are, that are kind of like on their last leg. And then we will be able to put some fruit trees up along this fence. For that space right there will be where we keep the chickens, because it gets partial sun, partial shade, and that would be good for the chickens. So that's probably going to go there. We'll leave this tree here, move this rose bush from here into the landscaping that's around the house. Take this out too, and we might be able to put another fruit tree or two over here. So we have 2 fruit trees on this side of the pine tree and 2 fruit trees on this side, and then kind of have this natural path kind of form. We would remove this rose bush here and transplant it, and then we pretty much have this whole space for the garden. And we could go up as far as I believe to this shrub is as far as we could go before we get into like the city's egress, which is like six feet in from the street. I'm going to start with the grow bags that you guys have seen. I'm just going to start with grow bags and just see how this area works before we start like really building anything out. So yeah, that's pretty much the plan. Also, the other piece of this is we want the garden to feel like a part of the landscape. So we do have like landscape ideas for the yard. The house is like mid-century modern, and we try to keep with that kind of mid-century modern feel even in the landscape. What somebody shared with me is like it's a specific term for that called potager or potager garden, where it's functional, but it's also styled. The things we didn't want to spend a lot of money buying and building raised beds, taking up all this space, and we really don't even need that much space. That's another thing that the master gardener shared, was that you don't really need as much space as you think you do. They do have this thing called like intense gardening, I believe is what it's called, where basically you kind of like don't pay attention to the rules as far as like how far you should space things apart, and you really concentrate as much as you can in as small of an area as you can for like maximum growth, but you can only do it with certain things. So we're just trying to find the balance. For now, we're just doing test runs, so I probably will end up kind of testing using the grow bags like this season for the fall winter season, and then next year is the spring summer, I'll do the same thing. I'll probably get some more grow bags, and we'll just kind of test out the theories. We'll test out the different layouts and see, yes, are we getting enough sun, and are we placing everything right? That's what I love about the grow bags. You can just pick them up and move them. I probably pick these things up and move them several times, even sometimes multiple times a day. Where especially the other day when I was trying to see as far as the sunlight, I just kept moving and moving and moving, and then I would come back in an hour and see, oh yes, it's still in the sun. No, that's not still in the sun. I just wanted to come and share that little tidbit as far as the information we were able to get from the master gardeners, because where you are in your area, especially if you're in the urban area, and it may be for areas that's not urban, definitely go to your city or even your surrounding cities. Go to the city's website and try to find out if your city or a neighboring city has a master gardeners group. This over here. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and stay tuned for more as we start our Blake's Urban Family Homestead. Bye.